Welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports. I'm your host, Coach Kevin Bull Jones. And sports fans, I've been chasing this guy all over the place for a little while because I know what I do on the high school level, but I needed some therapy on some things, and I needed for him to break down to me this whole fantastic aura of what's going on in youth sports. So if you like the show, please join and share because I have a special guest with me tonight. I had got a chance to meet him, I'd say about 10 years ago, but he has taken on some things and he's just done a phenomenal job with creating this outstanding, the number one social media outlet website for youth sports in America today. He's the largest, he's the baddest dude at it. I'm so glad I know him. I'm glad he had time to meet with me. He's busy because he's like us dads. He's got to multitask with his child's practice right now, but he's got some time to sit with us. I want to welcome to the show Alex Benson, the founder, owner of Born to Compete. How you doing, Alex?
Hey man, I'm great. Oh my goodness, Joe, it's been a little bit over 10 years since us meeting at the field, and hey, you were a coach doing your thing, and you allowed me to come on out there, and I was just a guy with a camera and a dream, basically, trying to make it happen, and it ended up working out. But yo, man, hey, kudos to you, man. Look at you, got the show. Is that a new fireplace back there? You use that good wood, don't you? That wood burned for a long time, right there. I've seen those type of fireplaces right there. I seen that in Diddy's house, Obama. Yeah, those type of fireplaces right there. Yeah, yeah. Cam Newton got those. That's $100 million contract right there. That's what I'm talking about, Coach.
Hey, it's only because you've been in those places. See, I haven't been there yet, so I can't relate. You are absolutely correct. I tell you, Alex, I have been a staunch supporter, cheerleader, slash, whatever you want to call it, because I just remember that day. It keeps playing in my head how you walked up and you told me about what you were doing, and it's kind of like a numbing effect because I saw a glow, your presentation of what you were doing. I never forgot that first impression. And everybody that's listening today, coaches, parents, talk to your sons and daughters about that first impression about doing things, because I remember, Alex, when you bought that, we were in the middle of a practice or a 7-on-7 competition. And I think I was at Lovejoy High School. And I mean, we were going at it, embarrassing people, tearing them up. The Thriller in Manila, they just didn't want us there no more. That's how good we were. I'm not bragging. It's in
That's true.
look up the
Yeah.
record books. I'm not bragging. I mean, but it was when you came over and talked about what you were doing. I'm honored to know that I was one of those people that got a chance to see it from the beginning, and the whole journey for me in coaching, and the journey for you, not tackling not just football but other sports as well. It enlightens me and it brings me joy because I saw a young man that did some things. He chased a dream, he chased a goal, and this is what hard work brings. So at the end of the day, parents, moms and dads and coaches, what I'm really trying to say is Alex brings and highlights and showcases the top of the cream of the crop in elite sports, but I watched him work his craft. I had to get that in, Alex, because kudos to you. And you have certainly now to get back to, I thought I was joking at first, but I was for real. I said, I don't know how to get in touch with this guy. I called a lot of people to find your number. I'm just going to keep it real. Now, I know a lot of people, but I had to call a lot of people to get to you.
That's all good. That's all good, man. But you see, as soon as we talked, it was instant, man.
Oh, man, it was really,
what you need. Yeah.
Right. It was like we kind of left off. And listen, you're in so many states, Alabama. I can't call all of them out. I'm not going to spend the whole show, but I want to just name. I said Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Michigan, Rhode Island, Delaware, North Carolina, Ohio, Texas, Florida. Man, I'm in awe of just where this has gone, the things that you've been doing with it. And the crazy part about it, real quick, I want you to let the viewers know. Some viewers already know about Born to Compete. It is a staple. It is us, and I say us high school coaches have to learn more. We are learning more about Born to Compete every day. I promise you. Because us older guys who've been in this for a little while, we're learning this phenomenon that's coming up, and it's you. But I just want to say this, and I found out about it from a crazy way. One of my son's former teammates, baseball teammates, is a guy by the name. His name is Roscoe Hayes, and they played baseball together. And man, I knew what Roscoe did on the baseball field.
Yeah.
I saw the highlights. Shout out to Coach Chris Hayes. Know what he did on the basketball court. I didn't know he played football like that. And man, when I saw the video and then I saw the awards that he got, I'm going, this stuff is for real. And it was just an amazement. And I know Roscoe from watching him play with my son, but man, the way the kid lights up, and I love the presentations, the awards that you give these kids. It is not just football, it's academics, it's everything. Man, tell me what started this for you when you were putting this all together. That's what I want to
Yeah, man. At first, really, what it was is I was pretty young when you met me, and I think about a year or two removed from college. Uh,
Yep.
Finished playing football, all that good stuff, and I needed something, right? I needed something. I worked a couple of odd jobs here and there. It was okay, but it wasn't a passion. And so we kind of fell into Born to Compete, me and a group of friends of mine. We got working, and at first, right, is to get a check, right? That's any job. I don't care what nobody says. Any job outside of your passion is to get a check,
Wow.
And it was the reality. I had a kid on the way, so had a kid on the way. I'm working, I'm trying to get a check. And as we started doing it more, it went from trying to get a check to a passion, and that's how it grew for me because I was, look, I'm just like you guys, I was fresh off college football. I look at youth sports it was youth sports. Like, what's the big deal? And as we got more involved into it, I understood that we had something special. I understood that we can highlight the kids, we can celebrate the kids, and we can also inform the parents on moving forward. And luckily, but for me, I was fortunate enough to have played college football. I was fortunate enough to go through a recruiting process. I was fortunate enough to go through the whole ups and downs of everything. From not being a good player to being a player that they depended on. All those different avenues. I grew up with the mom that didn't know as much, right, and the coach that provide a lot of information for me and my mother, all that kind of stuff. So I said to myself, you know what? I want to do this at the younger age groups. And so I just started basically injecting more of myself into what I did. So, when I would see a coach in a shotgun take a 5-step drop to throw a slant, I'm like, Coach, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds small to people, but it's the real thing, right? When they see quarterbacks out here running around, all that kind of stuff, everybody's celebrating. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We'll celebrate it, but that won't help you in the future. At the end of the day, you need to win from the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Receivers, y'all doing all this and all that. Get where you're supposed to be. Parents, understand, stop coming in with this, entitled attitude. Understand that everywhere you go, you're going to have to prove yourself because you're going into a brand new room, but basically all those different things to celebrate and inform, to highlight. Those are the main core staples of what we do.
Well, I tell you, I like the part that you brought in, and I do remember you playing collegiately, and we talking about that. And it's funny because for high school coaches, and I will be as transparent as possible.
Yeah.
We had a headache with this at first, and I'm keeping it real for coaches that won't tell the truth.
Yes.
Bull Jones would tell the truth. We had a headache with this because we had kids. I'll tell you where it started. The tournament in August, that is the mega. I didn't know
Yeah.
that people play all day on the weekend, and the numbers of people you can't even park. It is a gala spectacle of parents, of coaches, of players, and watching highly competitive football at its highest level. I listened to one of your former interviews that you did. You're right. The training level, those kids are already, it's almost like baseball and perfect game. When you go play perfect game in baseball, that means that you are at a certain level that is beyond just regular park ball. And that's what I saw. I heard about it. And I had a parent his son played on my team, but we had a car wash, and the parent wasn't going to be at the car wash because his younger son had a tournament and born to compete. And I was like, man, I got to find out what's going on. And I saw the people, I saw the competition, I saw some good football. Now let me say that, and I saw some coaches doing some really, I don't look down on youth coaches because you all are the foundation.
Yeah.
You all are the foundation to get to me. But I saw great things, Alex. I'll never forget that, and I applaud you for it because it was unbelievable. I didn't know.
Yeah, man. What it was is, and I know when we first started, a lot of coaches, it was hard for them to wrap their mind around us highlighting and celebrating youth sports, right? Because it can teach some bad characteristics, whether it's parent feeling entitled, a kid having, a kid not working as hard anymore. I understand all that. I do. But that's why I wanted to show coaches that I was the right man for the job.
Right.
I mean, not to say I'm no kind of gatekeeper, nothing like that. But look,
Well, you're
somebody has
close.
to,
I want to give you that. I want
somebody
to
has to
give
be
you
the
that.
head. Yeah, somebody got to be the head of the snake, right?
Right.
Somebody has to go up that hill first and say, "Follow me." Somebody has to do that. And so I knew, with my conversations with these, with you guys that were at the high level and the high school level, or playing at a high level in high school, I had to come in there and be able to have a real football conversation with you and
Correct.
let you know why this is beneficial to watch what we're doing, and also that when those kids come to you, out of the environment that we're creating, they will come in ready to work, they will come in humble, and they will come in talented, right? Talented and skilled. Most important thing, right? Here's the thing, right? Yes, we all want Jimmy and Joe, that's a Power Five kid, but a real coach knows is you might have on a good year, you might have 5 Power 5 kids. Just saying Power 5 guys. Understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about Power 5 guys that, got a chance to do the signing day, the hat thing, right? You got probably about three or five of those guys, maybe 2, maybe 1. Okay, cool. Everybody else needs to do their job. Everybody else needs to be coached up. Everybody else needs to be coachable, know what to do, and execute. And that's the great thing about it. We were able to provide kids that when they hit the next level, they know how to play football. You can tell them, hey, run a slant. They run it properly. You can tell them, hey, block, bump to the next level to get the linebacker. They know how to do that, right? So it's high level football came down to the youth level. And all it is that the big transition in Georgia was they were able to play at a high level from a young age. So that's how, it just got better and better and better, which obviously now you have the prize jewel with that, with Trevor about to go #1. And even ESPN used our stuff on Ant-Man when he went #1 this past year in the NBA draft. He talked about how much he loved football. And I honestly believe that we had something to do with that because we made it not only competitive, but we made it fun. We made it fun for him.
Well, I think my producer has a clip of Trevor Lawrence. This was a clip of Trevor Lawrence when he was. This is before the long hair. I hope that we still have it because watching him do an interview, and that's another thing that I like about what you did with these kids. You put them in positions to handle certain aspects of media development, even at an early age. And I think the time that I saw the video clip of Trevor Lawrence he was in middle school throwing a football around, and I almost didn't recognize him unless but they had his name crawling at the bottom of the screen, and it was Trevor Lawrence, but I didn't know it because the long hair wasn't part of it. I don't know if my producer was able to grab it, but nevertheless, he there he is. Oh my gosh, look at this kid
There you
with
go.
the crew cut. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this is totally amazing that this is Trevor Lawrence right here, sports fans on 100 yards of football.
Yeah.
This is with Born to Compete with my guy. This is fascinating because he's doing interviews right here.
Yeah, man. With Trev, so Trev, here's the funny thing about Trev. Trev was always the quietest kid out there.
Wow.
Always the quietest kid out there when he was young. But in sixth grade, and people have to take this into context when I'm talking about youth sports. So it's Trev's in sixth grade. He throws a 10-yard out route from the other hash on the rope to the sideline. Guys, a sixth grader now. Like, I understand if he's in high school, eighth grade, he can do those things. We're talking about a sixth grader letting it rip on a rope from one hash to the sideline. And I said, okay, this kid has talent, right? He has a talent. Then as he played, I saw him in uncomfortable situations where he wasn't necessarily winning, but he was fighting. Right? You saw something special in him, and I always
Right.
tell everybody, because that's the first time we ever did our player rankings right there with Trev. But
Wow.
what made us rank Trev number one was he's playing FBU game. It's an all-star tournament, and
Right.
he's getting his teeth knocked in. Right? I mean, he's having a horrible game at this time,
Right.
but the Maryland kid catches him, stone cold, boom, right in the jaw, bleeding the whole thing. Right, has to get up, come out the game, get taped up, or get patched up or whatever. Comes back
Yeah.
in the game, leads the team to the game-winning touchdown drive. Right, and we knew right then, me just being a football player, I want to play with him. Right, players know players. I've always said that. I would want
Right.
to play with him. He's the best thing I've seen out there. So we did the ranking and we did number one. You know what I'm saying? And the funny part is, I can tell people what you see in a kid, you will see in a grown man. Because here's the thing, right? They're
Mm.
playing, I want to say it was Ohio State. I can't remember who they were playing. I think it was Ohio State the previous year in the
Yeah. When he took
semifinals.
the shot. Yeah.
He took the shot. And what did he
Yeah.
do? Came back in, cranked it up to a whole other level and got to work. So these are the
Right.
things that we have been able to tell college coaches, and over 14 years now, they believe us and they
Right.
understand that what we're saying is the absolute gospel. It's the truth. If we say, "Hey, this guy's legit," just take a look at him. Not no sixth grader, nothing like that. I get all that, but a rising freshman, hey, coach, keep your eyes on him. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy that we think of everything we've looked at,
Mhm.
he's going to transcend well. And the great thing about us is we hardly have players that have off the field issues. They're
Right.
going to be accountable. The grades are going to be on point. They're going to be a yes sir, no sir guy. It
Mhm.
it might have a little bit of swag to them and all that kind of stuff, but that is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Look, the better the player, the more arrogant they're going to be. That's life. But they'll be respectful. They'll be
Right.
respectful, and like I said, they'll come to play day one for you, and come to contribute. Come to contribute.
So I want to dig deep on something, and I want you to expound on it for me because I always want to pull the not we talked about the why, but
Mm-hmm.
we see the finished product of what you put together.
Yeah.
Uh, Share with your viewers the struggles, the peaks and valleys. I give everybody, I got it from Ray Lewis, so it's not my saying, but the peaks and
Yeah.
valleys of getting to where we are now. Can you share some of that with the viewers? So, because everybody has their
Yeah.
own testimony, but what was it that you had to overcome?
Gee whiz, man. I think you overcome. I think you overcome. Yeah, I'll say two things. I'll say
Okay.
everything you overcome. Like a poem, Langston Hughes would say. You know, everybody has went through it. Basically, I'm trying to paraphrase here, but everybody has went through it themselves.
Right.
So in business, you're going to go through ups and downs, right? That's what it is. Um, And sometimes I think we even in the black community, we kind of sometimes, we step in our own way sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That's fact. That's fact. That's life. But I think for me, it was that unwavering love for the children and to see them grow and become who they are. Right? Like when you feel like this is a passion, when you feel like, okay, hey, God has put you in the place where you're supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
then there's nothing that can really deter you. So even though
Mm-hmm.
I can sit here and I can give you a whole bunch of ups and downs, I give you some horror stories. At the end of the at the end of, and man, I'll give some obviously for conversation's sake. But I mean, I think probably one of the toughest times I've ever had from business standpoint. I'll say from a business standpoint. One, we have the fields for our state championship game,
Right.
and all the fields get closed down. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Right? I had been talking with the county. The county said everything was good, but this one gentleman came in and decided to shut everything down. He wasn't even one of the higher ups in the county. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
cool. So we said, what are we going to do? Do we I have a choice between shut the tournament down, or I can let the tournament happen because all the kids were so excited for the state championship for the
Yes.
BTC. We let it happen, and honestly, man, we lost probably about 15 that year, 15,000. Lost a business partner, the whole nine, right?
Wow.
And I was debating on closing it down. It was a real thing that really happened. This is some years ago, and it's so funny how God works. Is with
Mm-hmm.
all that we lost, the next event I did that August with the Autism Bowl that we talked that you were mentioning.
Yep.
When I
Yep.
did
Yep.
that, we made the most we had ever made in one day.
Wow.
In one day. I'll never forget because it blew my mind. It blew my
Yeah.
mind. Me, I just did the Autism Bowl to raise money and awareness for autism. I never looked at it as something that could actually make something. And we made that, and we were able to give so much back to autism. It's a lot of cool things we were able to do with the kids off of that, off of those finances. Um, and to me, that just showed me that you're right where you need to be. You're in the
Mm-hmm.
path where you have to be in. And just with anything else, man. Sometimes, when God gardens, when God trims the garden there, He has to get rid of some stuff in order for
That's
the
right.
rest of everything to grow. So for me personally, from a business standpoint, that's what it was for me, right? Just keep moving while certain
Right.
things, I got it, moving within chaos, growing
And
within
see,
chaos. So that was it for me.
and the thing for me is listening to you talk about it is the key common denominator is love of the kids, because for
Yeah,
me the kids are sacred ground. They
yeah.
learn what we teach them, and as we plant the seed with them. And I think that's why I got into coaching, because
Mm-hmm.
I love working with the kids and watching them develop. And I can tell by just listening to you talk about it now, but I knew it already about you, that the love you have for the kids, because everything in Born to Compete, it is the fitting name for what is going on.
Yeah.
And the process that I feel blessed about is the fact that how you brought it to coaches like myself, and told us what you were doing, that because some of the guys that's been around for a while needed to learn some new stuff going on. I'm not going to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm transparent. We needed to know what triggers the success, because it used to be going to the regular park, and I say regular
Mm-hmm.
park, but I mean just the level of athleticism and the skill set, and you took it to another level. And I think that's fascinating. I think that's important in growth, and I once again, I applaud that, because get a chance to see you on major network television here at home. I think Saturday morning, me and my wife pop on the tube and see you either right before Terrence Mathis. Tell us how
Say
that all.
something about it.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah, man. With the 11 alive situation, with the 11 alive situation, man. Look, dude, it was a situation where I was doing. That's when I was still doing filming projects, right? So for those that
Right,
know,
right.
I never went to school for filming. I just like one day the dude that was doing the filming for us just told me he wasn't gonna do it no more. So we had no choice but to do it. And this is all within my first year. This is all within the first year of Born to Compete. So that's kind of how I learned to film. And so I'm doing this film project for this trainer, right? He's a fitness trainer, and back then he was really, really, really popular.
Right.
And we go up to NBC, and they're like, it's one of them things where you got to shoot your shot. And so I'm like,
Right.
how many times will I
Give it to him.
ever be? Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times will I ever be around a network with
Mhm.
talking to the right people now? Mind you, talk to the right people,
Right.
and them listening to me. I was like, man, yo, I was shooting that thing from half court like Steph was. I wasn't playing with it. So I I I said, hey, my name is Alex. This is what I do. Basically the same speech I gave you. This is what I do. It's my company, Born to Compete. And the lady name was Amber. Amber said, okay, I'm gonna put you in touch with the sports director. She's here today. And I said,
Wow.
really? So she comes upstairs and she's like, okay, we're always looking for new content. Show me what you got. I said,
Wow.
cool. I showed our YouTube page, and our YouTube page had so much content by then, right? So I think it's like 2011 back then. We had a lot of
Yeah.
content. Cam was just going into the league, and Cam was
Right.
saying some good things about us with obviously his brother winning awards and everything like that. Kaylin winning some awards, and
Right.
she saw that and she was like, "Look, I'm gonna give you a shot." I said, "Okay, cool." And she said, "Here's what we gonna do." Said, "You're gonna go to Brook because it was a Brookwood 7-on-7." She said, "You can do
That's right.
this. We'll flip it." Went there, filmed it, and guy turned around, boom. She said, "Okay, cool, no problem." And I think the first game we did was a Clayton County game. I want to say it was either Drew or North Clayton, Lovejoy. I can't remember who it was, but
Right.
that was our very first game. And
North Clayton, Riverdale, probably.
it might have been North Clayton, Riverdale. And
Yeah.
all I remember, man, because we grew, not grew up, but the company really grew up in Clayton County. And I just remember the stadium. We said, yo, Born to Compete. We really want to get the stadium to chant B2C.
Yeah.
And dude, the whole stadium did it. And it was a great TV moment. And I was blown away because the love that Clayton County showed. And that right there, that has become a staple. Funny enough, that has become a staple at every high school game we've been to.
Right.
Big game, where we get the crowd chant B2C. And, that's how it happened, man. That's how it happened. So really what it was, man, is that I saw opportunity and I ran full speed through it. It's kind of like, hey, you about to run the 1 or 2 hole. Like it's some thunder in there. And you ain't got no fullback,
That's
but
right. You in there by yourself, but better make a cut and run through
hey,
somebody.
yes sir, yes sir. It wasn't one of those we on the 1 yard line. No, we on our own 1 yard line, and you got to get through there. And I bust that thing for a 99 yarder. Basically, that's how it went.
That's what
So,
happened.
that's what happened. So no, that's how that story goes with the NBC. With B103, that the story that everybody likes is met Frank Ski. He had the U-boat going on, and with Frank, Frank at that time was huge.
Yes.
He was a different type of character, man. So he calls me out the blue. Hey, I love what you got going on. I said, oh, okay, well, who's this? You know what I'm saying? He said, Frank Ski, homie. I said, okay. And again, mind you, I was from small town Columbus. So I ain't really know nothing
Right.
about him. So I was like, all right, cool. What's up, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking. I need to go make this little money for filming this game. Like, hurry up, homie. And he's like, yo, I love your stuff. I want you to do the Youth Bowl. I like what you did last year. We did a little filming for the Youth Bowl, but it was for Born to Compete. And, I'm going to call you. And he just hung up. I was like, all right, like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So I never forget. I was at Sandy Creek. So I went to film the game. And, I didn't, yes, I knew of who he was. I listened to him on the radio every now and again.
Right.
But it wasn't like, I've never been those type of dudes that be like, oh, that's what that is, or whatever, at that time. You know what I'm saying? And still not to this day. So it was weird, man. It was getting in November. I think it was November. Yeah. It was November. And, I was really, it was one of those other times contemplating on closing the business down. And I wake up and it's like 60 something phone calls, 60 something text messages on my phone. And I'm sitting
Right.
there thinking, like, my goodness, what's happened? Everybody's saying congratulations, congratulations. I'm like, congratulations. I'm like, I'm broke. Like, what is everybody saying congratulations to the company? So Frank did a commercial for B103 promoting Born to Compete and his youth
Right.
bowl. And, at that time, like I said, he was at the height of his stuff. And so for him to do that for us was almost unbelievable.
Wow.
And from there, the rest is history, man. For the city of Atlanta,
Wow.
it just like I said, man. We just look, man. We worked hard, had some good things work out for us, and when those moments came, we showed up, right? So let's just say for my football people, it's third and long. You're the backup receiver. The main receiver done got hurt, and they got the coverage is leaning to the other side, and
Right.
you 1-on-1, and he got no choice but to go to you, and he
Right.
threw it up, and I made a play, man. And and
Amen.
and luckily enough for me, I was able to stay consistent after that. And there you go, man. There came the growth of Born to Compete.
Well, I tell you what, Alex, I thank you so much. I wish we had some more. We're gonna have some more time. I'm gonna bring you back. I
Yeah.
gotta get you back before I start spring practice and before you
Okay.
get crazy packed, because we gotta talk some football. You know what I mean? You
No
like to
doubt.
talk football.
Yes,
And we're
sir. Yes,
gonna
sir.
talk the whole dance, even after how the draft is going down. Because I want to get your thoughts. But I want to thank you for being with us, because I see the blessings that were bestowed upon you for what you're doing. And my heart goes out to you, because it fills a void, and it's just a pleasure to watch your light.
Thank you.
Uh, all due respect to what you do. And I love the name. The name fits you. The name
Yeah.
fits what goes on. It's called Born to Compete. Number one media source website, all information, number one in the nation. My hat's off to you. I salute you. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with us today. Appreciate you.
All right, homie.
Thank you.
Hey, man.
Well,
Take care, Coach.
so,
Man, you got the coolest nickname out there. The coolest nickname out there.
hey, I appreciate you, man. I think the baby face fools them sometimes, but when I get out on the field, I turn into a totally different person. But I love what I do, and I love those kids. I love working with them. So, I'm not socially savvy yet with all the technology, but maybe one day I'll be in a situation where I can do that better. But I appreciate you, man. And my mother gave me that name, by the way. Next time we get together, give you the story, and you ain't gonna believe how
Okay.
I ended up with this thing. But it is amazing. But thank you so much. So, sports fans, once again, his name is Alex Benson. If you don't already know, Born to Compete, the founder, the owner, the lightning rod of what's going on in youth sports. I love this man. I love what he does.
Thank you.
It is nothing but awesome energy. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the show, please share. Thank you once again for watching 100 yards of football sport.